Okay, let's start our class today. In the last class, we discussed about the average speed, right? And I told you the only formula to get the average speed is total distance divided by total time. For example, if you are moving on this path and you have covered two distances, let's say you have covered d1 distance in time t1 and you have covered another d2 distance in time t2 in going from this point P to Q to R. Means you are going from P to R and you have covered distance d1 in time t1 and d2 in time t2. So if somebody asks you what would be the average speed, the formula for the average speed, I told you that it would be total distance upon total time. This will be the formula for the average speed. Means whatever the distance you are having, divide the total distance by the total time. That means divide d1 plus d2 divided by total time, that is t1 plus t2. And this you will get the average speed. Okay. So to calculate average speed, you need to know two things. One is total distance, another one is total time, right? And this we have already done in the previous class. I have given you one question also. I gave you, we basically discussed the question in the last class, which was based on average speed. So we have already done this. So I'm not going to talk about it furthermore. I'm moving to the next form of speed, which is called as instantaneous speed. We have idea of average speed. Now we will be discussing a new kind of a speed, which you have to study here. You haven't studied this earlier. You haven't studied this in class ninth, right? Or earlier. This speed is called as instantaneous. Instantaneous. This speed will be called as instantaneous speed. Now let us understand what is instantaneous speed. What is instantaneous speed? Let us understand the instantaneous speed. ठीक है? अब देखो बेटा इंस्टेंटेनियस स्पीड क्या होता है? व्हाट इज इंस्टेंटेनियस स्पीड? तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. I told you कि the total distance, let's say this x here is 0 and x here is equal to 10 meter. And the total time that I required in going from this point P to Q, let's say the total time is something t is equal to 4 seconds. I required 4 seconds in going from point P to point Q, which is at a distance of 10 meter. So you calculated the speed and you told me that average speed would be equal to 10 by 4, that is equal to 2.5 meter per second. This would be the average speed, right? But this is the rate at which you have covered the total distance. I mean, the total distance is being covered by you at a rate of 2.5 meter per second. This means that I can say on an average, you have covered 2.5 meter per unit of time or per unit second. But this doesn't mean that you have covered 2.5 meter per second or this is the speed at every instant of time. See what I'm saying, try to understand it again. For the whole journey, I can claim that on an average, you are covering a total distance of 2.5 meter in 1 second. If you have covered total distance of 10 meter in 4 seconds, so I can claim that on an average, you covered 2.5 meter in 1 second. But this is not your speed at every point of time. This is the average speed. This is the net effect. That means the total distance that you have covered, this you have covered with this effect. That means you have covered every 2.5 meter in 1 second on an average. But this is not the reality. At every point of your path, your speed can be 2.5 or it can be 2 point more than 2.5 or it can be less than 2.5. So this means that what we are getting is the net effect. We are not getting the speed at every point of my path. Did you understand what I'm saying? You have got the net effect. For example, if I say okay, in two of the subjects, let's say in maths and physics, in maths you got let's say you have got 90 and in physics you have got 80. So what is the your average marks? So you will simply say that your average marks is 90 plus 80 divided by 2. Is it correct? That means it would be 170 divided by 2. This means that you have got on an average 80 marks, 85 marks, right? But does this means in every subject you have got 85? In maths you have got more than 85, and in physics you have got less than 85. But the effect is, on an average, I can claim that on an average you are getting 85 marks, right, in each subject. This is average, and this is the meaning of average, right? But average may or may not be equal to the individual value. Did you understand what I'm saying? The average value may or may not be equal to the individual value. For example, if you take the average value 2 plus 4 plus 6 divided by 2, let me take one more value. Let me take one more value. Let say I am taking one more value for 8. There are 4 values, right? 6, 12, 20 divided by 4. So this means that your average is 5. But your individual value, none of your individual value is equal to 5. Either your values are less than 5 or it is more than 5. But none of your value is equal to 5. Did you understand what I'm saying? Means average value gives you the net effect. Average value gives you the total effect, right? But the average value may or may not be equal to the individual values. Tell me yes or no. Have you understood till now whatever I have said? सर सबको मेरी बात यहाँ तक क्लियर है? मेरी आवाज जा रही है या नहीं जा रही है? क्या है? Saksham Chopra is saying yes sir. Rest I don't know about others. कि बाकी लोग क्या कहते हैं? Have everyone understood this? What is the meaning of average and what does average gives? Average gives the total effect, and that total effect may be equal to the individual value or may not be equal to the individual value. It can either be less than individual value. It can. Who has muted your audio? All of you, please unmute your audio. Okay. Because unless I'll get any response from your side, I will not be satisfied and I will not be able to teach, right? So I need response from your side. So please keep everybody your audio unmuted whenever I ask you something. And yes, rest of the time you can mute your audio, right? So listen to me carefully. What I'm saying, okay, this was the average speed. Now, if I ask you what was your speed at this point, or I ask you what was the speed at this point, means if I ask you your speed at any particular point, so how will you calculate your speed at a point, right? For example, just to understand it clearly, I am saying, let's say it is x is equal to 0, and I have reached to a new point where x is equal to 0.0000000000001. So of course, I have covered some distance in going from this point to that point, right? If this is P and this is Q, so obviously I have covered some distance in going from P to Q. And if I ask you how much of the distance have you covered, so you can simply claim that the distance that is covered by me or by you is equal to 0.00. I don't know how many times I have written this 0.0001. Obviously, this distance is very small. It is so small that P and Q can be assumed to be very close point, or they can be assumed approximately to be the same point. Did you understand? Because this 0.0001 is very small and this value is tending to 0. So almost I can claim that P and Q are almost a single point. So if such a small distance is there and you have to find the speed for this small distance, as you have moved from this point to that point by a very small distance, so what is your speed in going from P to Q by a very small distance of 0.0001? So such a speed that is calculated for a very small distance. How small? So the distance is so small that the value of that distance can be approximately assumed to be 0. Clear hai? Matlab, I can, in other words, I can claim that the distance is so small that P and Q can be approximately assumed as the same point. Approximately. I'm not saying these to be the same point actually. I'm saying approximately. Very close to each other. This means that what I'm asking is the speed at a particular point. And whenever a speed at any particular time or a point is asked, that speed is called as instantaneous speed. किसको नहीं समझ में आया, please ask me. What is instantaneous speed? Instantaneous speed is the speed of a particle or a body at any particular instant of time. एक खास समय पर at a particular instant of time, ठीक है, not for a very large value of time or not for a very large value of distance, at a very small value of distance. How small? So such a small value of distance which tends to zero, ठीक है. तो ऐसा स्पीड जो किसी पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंट पे पूछा जाए, that is called as instantaneous speed. I hope everybody have understood this. So if you will write the definition for instantaneous speed, what would it be? Sir, I couldn't hear you. Mauna, please reconnect. Okay, Mauna, I will repeat this. What I am saying is, Mauna, if we calculate the speed for a very small distance. How small? For example, just try to understand. Let's say if this point is x is equal to 0 and the coordinate of this point is 0.000001. This point is P, this point is Q. So Mohana, I have covered some distance in going from point P to point Q. Is it correct, beta? And what is my distance? So can I say that my distance is nothing but 0.00001, right? This is the distance. Mauna, if I ask you, is it a very large distance or very small distance? What would you say? Mauna, please respond. 0.00001 is a large or a small distance? Very small, right? So it is so small that this value can approximately be assumed to be zero, right? Means I can approximately claim that P and Q are approximately same point, although actually they are not same points, but their separation is so small that can be taken, the P and Q, the 2 points can be assumed as a single point, and this is called, this is the meaning of an instant. Instant means at a particular point, means you have changed your position, but you have changed your position by such a very small value that that change can be approximately be considered as zero. Clear? So if speed is calculated for a so small change of position, so such a speed would be called as instantaneous speed. The in definition wise, I can claim that instantaneous speed means the speed of a body at a particular instant of time or a particular instant. Did you understand, Mohana? Instantaneous speed means speed at a particular instant. और इसको और आसान करूं मैं, in further simple words, I can claim that the speed of a body at a particular point is basically called as instantaneous speed. Did you understand, everybody? So how do we calculate the instantaneous speed? Just try to understand that. So because distance is very small, time is also very small. We have heard that a speed is written as distance upon time. But if distance is very small, tending to zero, and time is also very small, tending to zero, then in that case, we can use this thing, which is called as differentiation. That is, instantaneous speed is written as dx by dt. Did you understand why did we write dx by dt? Because instantaneous speed means the speed at a point for which x will also be very small. How small? The infinitesimally small, whose value tends to zero. And I have already told you, if the value of any quantity is tending to zero, so that quantity is represented by dx or dy or dz, right? Means if I have a very small value of x, that means if x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0.0000001, so I can take this difference between these 2 points P and Q as dx. Did you understand? If the difference between two quantities is very small, then I can take that very small change as dx or dy or dz, right? So instantaneous speed means dx by dt. Instantaneous speed का मतलब होता है dx by dt. That is very small change in distance upon very small change in time. Is it clear to everyone? That means whenever you have to find the instantaneous value, okay, whenever you have to find the instantaneous value of a speed, you will just differentiate x with respect to time, where x is what? Distance. ठीक है, तो मैं लिख देता हूं definition. Speed of a body, speed of a body at any particular instant is known as instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. ठीक है, and how it would be calculated? So it would be calculated by the differentiation of x with respect to time. And what is this x here? So x is the distance. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Note कर लिया आप लोगों ने? Everybody? Okay. Okay, I'm waiting. अच्छा, write one point. Note. Note means an important point. Instantaneous speed may or may not be same. Instantaneous speed may or may not be same to average speed. इंस्टेंटेनियस स्पीड और एवरेज स्पीड सेम हो भी सकता है और सेम नहीं भी हो सकता है ना. एट एवरी इंस्टेंट योर स्पीड मे बी वॉट एवर यू गेटिंग द स्पीड एट एवरी इंस्टेंट that may or may not be equal to the average speed, right? Okay, can I erase this? Sir, so sir, we get to know which instant from the time. Yes, of course, we get to know the value of instant from the time. For example, I'll come to the example part where you will understand how we will get the instantaneous speed. For example, let's say I am taking an example question, very simple sawal. I am saying that this x is equal to, let's say it is 2t square. Means the position or the distance of the body is depending on time. T is time and x is position, or you can say simply the distance. Matlab, the position of the body is given by 2t square. Means as the t will change, position will change. Is it clear, beta? As the t changes, position will also change. Is it correct? बोलो. अब अगर if I ask you find instantaneous speed at t equal to 2 seconds, this means that you have to find the instantaneous speed. Matlab, you have to find the speed exactly at t equal to 2 seconds. Did you understand? Everybody please respond. Everyone, you have to find what? You have to find the instantaneous speed, right? Who is muting you again and again?
Sir, we don't know.
Okay. Tahira, listen to me carefully again. Beta, x represents the position. For example, if some particle started its motion, so it can be at different position at different value of time. तो आपसे कह रहा है कि ये जो x है that is equal to 2t square, that means where t is time, that means x changes with time. मतलब at different values of time, the particle will be at different position. For example, if t is equal to 1 second, if t is equal to 1 second, particle would be at x is equal to 1 meter. If t is equal to 0 second, particle would be at x is equal to 0 meter, right? So particle started from here. After 1 second, it will reach to a point where x is 1 meter. After 2 seconds, it will reach to some other point. Okay? If I put t is equal to 2 seconds, so particle would be at some other position, and that would be equal to 2 into 2 square. That would be equal to 8 meters, right? So particle is covering some distances. But remember, in first 1 second, it has covered only 1 meter. Whereas in second 1 second, है ना, from 1 to 2, in the time from 1 second to 2 second, 1 second to 2 seconds, it has covered how much of the distance? It has covered 8 meters. Can you see that? This means that in every 1 second, particle doesn't covers the same distance. नहीं आया, नहीं आया, नहीं आया, नहीं आया. Did you understand what I am saying? In first 1 second, it has covered 1 meter. In the second 1 second, it has covered 8 meters. Okay? This means that In every 1 second, particle is not covering the same distance, rather it is covering different distance. Yes, yes, Saksham, just wait. I'm just explaining this. I will solve the question. That is a different issue, but I'm just explaining. I'm just explaining the requirement of instantaneous and average. Okay, okay, Shika, don't get confused. What I'm saying, beta, okay, if you put x is equal to, if you put the value of t is equal to 1 second, if you put t is equal to 1 second, so if you put t is equal to 1 second, x would be equal to 1 meter or not, Ishika? Okay. Now, if t is equal to 2 second beta, if t की value I will put 2 second here, so x will be equal to what? X will be 2 into 2 का square, that is equal to 8 meter. ठीक है? Now listen to me. This time was 1 second. This time is 2 second. So what is the difference between these two times? Of course, it is equal to 1 second. And what is the difference between the distance that it has covered? That is 7 meter. इसका मतलब in first second it has covered 1 meter, whereas in second it has covered 7 meter. Did you understand? In going from 1 meter to 8 meter, it has covered 7 meter. Is it clear? Bolo. If t is equal to 3 seconds, bete, so x would be equal to what? 2 into 3 ka square? That would be equal to 18 meter. That means in the third second, it has covered 10 meters. Did you understand? Means in every 1 second, it is not covering the equal distance. It is covering different distance. अच्छा बेटा अगर मुझे एक बात बताओ, if a body covers different distances in the same time, मैं तुम्हें explain कर रहा हूँ. For example, I am saying this in 1 second, यहाँ से यहाँ गया ये 1 meter in 1 second. यहाँ से यहाँ it has covered 7 meter in the next 1 second. यहाँ से यहाँ it has, sir please show the slide again. I'll show you Mauna. I'll show you, don't worry. It has covered 10 meter in 1 second. So if I calculate the speed between AB, try to understand. So it would be 1 by 1 is equal to 1 meter per second. Whereas if I if I take the speed from B to C, it would be 7 by 1. That will be equal to 7 meter per second. And if I take the speed from C to D, it would be 10 by 1 is equal to 10 meter per second. इसका मतलब in every 1 second the speed is different. In every 1 second speed is different, right? But if I calculate the average speed, let us understand. The average speed means total distance by total time. This means that 1 plus 7, 8, 8 plus 10, 18 meter divided by total time 3. So your average speed is coming out to be 6 meter per second, whereas the instantaneous speed in different 1 seconds is different, but the average speed is 6. And if you compare these two results, you will observe that body has never moved with this speed of 6 meter per second. Body की speed कभी भी 6 meter per second नहीं थी, but the average speed is coming out to be 6 meter per second. This means that instantaneous and the average value are different in this case. Is it understood? Tell me first, have you understood the difference of instantaneous and average? Okay. On the contrary, try to understand one more thing and then I'll solve the problem. On the contrary, अगर मैं ऐसे करता, मैं आपसे कहता कि ये ऐसे ले लो. In first second body covered, let's say 3 meter. In second 1 second also it covered 3 meter. In the third 1 second also it covered 3 meter. Let's say, एक बार और थोड़ा सा सुन लो, उसके बाद मैं solve करूंगा. So we would have written VAB to be equal to 3 by 1. That would have been equal to 3 meter per second. B to C can be written as equal to 3 upon 1, again 3 meter per second. And same as V, C to D would have been again 3 meter per second. Correct? Hai? In this case, if I want to find the average value, it would be 3339 divided by 3 is equal to 3 meter per second. Means in this case, average and instantaneous speeds are same. And why is it same? Because in each 1 second, body is covering equal distance. Means if in equal intervals of time, body covers equal distances, then instantaneous and average would be same. But if in equal intervals of time, body covers different value of distances, So instantaneous and average would be different. They will not be same. Did you understand or not? Or you may have studied this in class 9. This type of motion in which speed in every interval remains same is called as uniform motion, and the speed is called as uniform speed. You may have heard about it, right, in class 9. Are you getting what I'm saying? Your speed may or may not be same to the instantaneous. When does the average speed and instantaneous speed remain same? When body covers equal distances in equal interval of time. And if the body covers different distance in different values of time, so then in that case, average and instantaneous will not be same. And these kind of motion is called as non-uniform motion. These kind of motion is called as non-uniform motion. And these kind of speed is called as non-uniform speed. These kind of motion is called as non-uniform motion, and these kind of a speed is called as non-uniform speed. Clear hai? Now I'm coming back to the question now, right? I'm going back to the question part. Okay? If you have understood all these stuffs, now I'm going back to the question. Ishika, is your doubt clear, beta? Is your confusion clear? Or still you having some? Okay. So now we are going to the question part. So what is asked in the question is x is equal to 2t square. So you have to find the instantaneous speed. Okay, I have made you understand everything. Now, if I talk about the question, so how would you solve? You just know that whenever you have distance given and you want to find out the instantaneous speed, you will just differentiate that x with respect to time. Means what? For instantaneous speed, first of all, what will you do? You will do dx by dt. That means d by dt of 2t square. Now, here comes the role of differentiation. In differentiation, I told you, if you have a constant multiplied with a variable, if you have some constant which is multiplied with variable, see, time will change, but 2 is a constant, right? Time will change, but 2 is a constant. So if you have a constant multiplied with variable, so you will keep 2 as it is, and you will differentiate d by dt of t square. You will keep 2 as it is, constant will be kept as it is, and what will you differentiate? So you will differentiate only t square, right? And how would you differentiate this? So you will differentiate this by a formula. And what was the formula? So you can write this formula as t to the power n as n t to the power n minus 1. Did you remember this? Dekho, earlier when we had to differentiate x, we used to take it as x. Now we have, in place of x, we have t. So we will be using the same formula. X will be replaced by t. Is it clear to all? Please respond. V instantaneous. Okay. V instantaneous can be written as 2 multiplied by t square. The differentiation of t square would be 2t. That means it will be written as 4t. So this we have got an equation for instantaneous speed, right? This is the equation that we have got from this, right? But where we were supposed to write the value of instantaneous speed? So we were supposed to write this value at t equal to 2 seconds. So we can write it as when t is equal to 2 seconds, when t is 2 seconds, instantaneous speed would be written as 4 multiplied by 2. Put the value of t as 2, you will get it as 8 meter per second. Is it clear to all? This will be our instantaneous speed. Okay, Saksham. Okay, Tahira, good. Is it done, beta? Can we take one more illustration? Okay, so moving on, we are going to take next illustration. Mona is asking to unmute. यार मैंने तो mute करा ही नहीं है. देख लेता हूँ. Let me check the settings, please. If I have muted you people, then let me check. Annotate नहीं mute opponent free ऐसा तो नहीं है. मैंने तो mute नहीं करा. Okay, moving to the next question. Let me write the next question on the screen. Then I'll ask somebody else if he can unmute. Okay, the question is this way. X is equal to, let's say we have 2t cube plus of 4t square plus of t. This is x is position, ठीक है, and t is time. T is time. You can understand that, right? You have to find instantaneous speed. Find instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed at t equal to 2 seconds. You can do this, right? You can solve it. Please solve it and let me know. Instantaneous speed at 2 seconds, right? Try to solve. You just have to differentiate, nothing else. So try to solve and let me know the answer. Now check whether you are able to unmute yourself or not. Please check whether you are able to unmute yourself or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Sir.
you can, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. अब देखो तो ये सॉल्व करो तो कोशिश करो, ट्राई इट बाय योरसेल्फ फर्स्ट. देखो दिस इज जस्ट सिंपल डिफरेंशिएशन, राइट? एंड दैट इज व्हाई डिफरेंशिएशन एंड इंटीग्रेशन आर टॉट टू यू, बिकॉज यू हैव टू अप्लाई दिस इन फिजिक्स. तो बस सिंपल सा डिफरेंशिएशन है. You have to keep the constant as it is and you have to differentiate the variable part. And how will you differentiate the variable? By using this formula, t to the power n ka differentiation is nt to the power n minus 1. The differentiation of this would be equal to this. Just do it and let me know the answer.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Okay, good. Now I am solving it and just match your answer. So V instantaneous would be written as differentiation of x with respect to time. If you remember everything of differentiation, so I told you each term will be differentiated individually. है ना? Each term. Ibrahim, please listen to me. If you have more than one term, so you can differentiate each term individually, right? So means this term will be differentiated individually. That means we will write it as d by dt of 2t cube. I'm just writing this step for you to understand. This would be written as d by dt of 4t square, and this will be written as d by dt of t. Clear? If you differentiate this term, you have a constant and a variable. So I told you you can keep constant as it is and you will just differentiate the variable dt cube plus of dt. And this here again we have a constant 4 and we have to differentiate this variable dt square upon dt plus dt by dt. dt by dt undoubtedly you can claim this to be as 1. dt by dt is nothing but 1, right? Okay, so now we differentiate this to dt cube. The differentiation of t cube would be 3t square. I hope you are getting this. Sir, कैसे? According to the formula, n t to the power n minus 1 is equal to d upon dt to the power t to the power n. ठीक है? According to this formula. Plus of 4 into dt square. The differentiation of dt square would be dt, and this we have already got as 1. So this can be written as equal to 6t square plus of 8t plus of 1. This is the equation for instantaneous speed. Tell me whether you have understood this or not. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now what you are supposed to do, you just have to put the value of t in this equation. And the value of t is 2. So put that 2 here. If you'll put 2 here, so it would become 6 into 2 the squared plus of 8 multiplied by 2 plus of 1. If you'll solve this, 4 into 6, 24. 24 into 16 will become 40. plus of 1, that is equal to 41 meter per second, and the answer of Saksham, answer given by Saksham is absolutely correct. Ask me if you have any doubt, please ask me. Anyone? Ibrahim, Mohuna, Tahira, Tariq, any one of you. If you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me. अगर कोई भी प्रकार का दिक्कत है तो पूछो.
No, sir.
Sir, I
भाई सबको
understood.
okay. So I think everyone has understood now how to find the instantaneous speed, right? So this is the concept to find the instantaneous speed. You just have to differentiate the position with respect to time. So you will get a equation for instantaneous speed, and whenever you will put the value of time in that equation, you will get the value of instantaneous speed at that time, right? Can we move? Can
Yes,
we
sir.
proceed? Okay. Okay, so this is one way of thinking, and this was related to the average speed and the instantaneous speed. And I told you there is only one formula to calculate the average speed, and that is total distance upon total time. And for instantaneous speed, you will have to differentiate distance with respect to time, that is dx by dt. Now we move to the next, which is velocity. We move to the next parameter, which is velocity. Okay. So now listen to me clearly. What is velocity? So I can simply write average velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Okay, total displacement upon time. Total displacement, and you know the displacement, right? What is displacement? So displacement is the shortest path covered between initial and final position. So total displacement upon total time. क्या मतलब हुआ सर इसका? The meaning to this is, if for example, if I go from, let's say if I go from this point to that point, if I go from this point to that point via this path, so I am going from this point P to Q by along this path, right? But the shortest path between this initial and final position could be this straight line joining P and Q. Is it understood? So whatever is the shortest path between initial and final position, that is basically called as displacement. And if I choose this path in going from P to Q, if I go from along this straight line, so the time taken by this straight line, let that be T. So just divide this displacement by the time taken to go from P to Q along this shortest path. So this will give you the average velocity. Did you understand? The
Yeah.
average velocity is nothing. Average velocity is nothing, but it is simply the change in position divided by total time. Did you understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I am taking this to one more step. Try to understand this. If I say I was here at this position x1, and after some time I reached to a new position x2. So can you tell me what will be my displacement? What will be my displacement if I was here at point P where x is x1 and I reach to a new point where at a Q where x has become x2? So what will be my displacement? Can you tell me please? So this will be the simplest, shortest path, right? Because it is a straight line, it will be shortest path also. My
Yes,
displacement
sir.
can I write my displacement equal to x2 minus x1 or not? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Bhai, I was at this position, now I am at this position. So simply the change in position is my displacement, na bete. For example, if I am at x is equal to 4 meter, I have moved to a new distance of x is equal to 10 meter. What is my displacement, beta?
6.
Of course it is 6, because simply the change in position is my displacement, right? Simply
Yes.
the change in position is my displacement. So I can write this as to be my displacement, है ना? अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया. अच्छा, दूसरी बात, change को, this kind of change can also be written as delta x. This is called as delta, the triangle like a structure or a small triangle. This delta represent a kind of change. मैं लिख देता हूँ. This is called as delta. और कभी भी डेल्टा लगा दो ना, if something is written with delta, तो डेल्टा means change. और change का क्या मतलब होता है? Final minus initial. Let me assume I was here at time t1 and I reached to this position at time t2. Can you tell me time has also changed or not in going from P to Q? The change in time would be equal to what, beta? change in time, that would be equal to total time that I have required is T2 in going from this point to that point would be T2 minus of T1 that is equal to delta T लिख सकता हूँ यानी बेटा please respond. Now every one of you is unmuted, right? So you can respond. Time required in going from T1 to T2 is the difference of these two times. For example, if I say I was here at 1 p.m. and I have reached to this position at 1:05 p.m. So what is the time taken in going from this point to that point? How much is the time?
5 minutes.
Obviously 5 minutes. है ना? So this is the time and this is your displacement. Means average speed can be simply written as x2 minus of x1 upon t2 minus of t1, or it can also be written as delta x by delta t. मतलब whenever you are supposed to find the average displacement, you will first calculate initial position, final position, take the difference of both the position, divide it by time, you will get average velocity. Is it understood? Ishika, Ibrahim, Saksham, Mauna.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you please explain it again?
Okay, I'll explain this again. See, what is average velocity? It is simply displacement upon time. And how can we calculate the displacement? The displacement is simply the change in position. Matlab, how the position has been achieved is not an issue. When you are calculating displacement, it will only simply be equal to the change in position. How you go from one position to another position, it doesn't matter. It doesn't depend on that. It only depends on the initial position and final position. And the change between the two positions will be called as displacement. Did you understand what I'm saying, beta? For example, this point is P, this point is Q. And the change distance between the two is, let's say it is equal to R. मान लो. Let's say P to Q, the distance between these 2 points is R. Doesn't matter either you go this way or you go that way, doesn't matter. The displacement will be simply the change in position, that is the position of Q and position of P. Just subtract the two position, you will get the displacement. Did you understand, bete? जिसने भी पूछा था.
Yes, sir.
So that is why I have written it as x2 minus of x1, that is the change in position upon change in time. If you divide the change in position upon time, you will get the velocity. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to the next slide.
No, sir.
Now, this was the average velocity, right? Average velocity is displacement upon time, or total displacement upon time, and this total displacement can also be written as delta x upon delta t. That is change in position upon change in time, right? Now, there is another velocity which is called as instantaneous velocity. Who will tell me what is the meaning of instantaneous velocity now? कोई बताएगा मुझे what is instantaneous velocity? You have just studied instantaneous speed. So according to that, can you tell me what is instantaneous velocity?
Velocity of a body at any particular instant.
Very good. Did you understand, Ishika bete? Velocity at any particular instant. Instant is known as instantaneous velocity. Did you understand or not? Right? Similar to the instantaneous speed. What was the instantaneous speed? The speed of a body at any particular instant was instantaneous speed. Similarly, the velocity of a body at any particular instant would be the instantaneous velocity. And how will you get the instantaneous velocity? So you will just differentiate again x with respect to time. And what is this x here? The x can be called as position or displacement. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
In the previous case, this x was distance. In this case, this x is displacement. Is it understood or not? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please note down this formula also. Note कर लिया note कर लिया formula. Did you write the formula, please? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I am repeating this again and try to understand this again. What I told you just now is average velocity and instantaneous velocity. I will repeat this again. Average velocity means total displacement upon total time. ठीक है? Total displacement upon total time. And instantaneous velocity means the velocity of a body at any particular instant of time, and that is calculated as dx by dt. Whereas average velocity, if x is given, the average velocity will be calculated as change in x upon change in time, right? This is the definition for average velocity, and this is the definition for instantaneous velocity. Now come to the question part. For example, if I say x is equal to, let's say I'm taking a very simple example. Let's say if I say x is equal to, let's say it is 2t. Clear? And if someone asks you to find average velocity between t equal to 1 second and t equal to 3 seconds. Did you understand? Means from here till here, you have to find the average velocity. Is this average or instantaneous? Because you are supposed to calculate the velocity between t1 and t3 seconds, right? So this would be, of course, this would be average. Why? Because it is not at any particular instant. How will you calculate the average velocity in this case? Tell me. How would you calculate average velocity in this case, beta? X, equation for x is given where x is position and t is time. T is what? T is time. How will you calculate average velocity? कौन बता रहा है? Ibrahim, will you try to give me some suggestion on how to calculate average velocity? Ibrahim?
Delta T by delta T.
Of
Oh,
course,
delta
what I
T by
just told.
delta T.
No, delta t by delta t नहीं, delta x by delta t. Ibrahim? It is not delta t by delta t, it is delta x by delta t. Ishika, how will you calculate the average velocity? Tell me.
So do we need to integrate here?
What happened? I didn't hear you.
So do we need to use integration in this?
No, nothing. We don't need to integrate. Why we will integrate? I just told you, try to understand. That is why I'm taking very basic example. I just told you V average means final position minus initial value of x upon final value of time minus of initial value of time. Try to listen to me carefully. अभी तो मैं इंटीग्रेशन वाले कॉन्सेप्ट पे जा ही नहीं रहा, ठीक है? First of all, what did I tell you about the average velocity? So for average velocity, I just told you that average velocity would be equal to total displacement upon total time. But how we will calculate the displacement? So to calculate the displacement, you will take the initial value of x and then final value of x, and you will take the difference. And now the question arises, sir, how we will find final position and initial position? How we will find the initial value of x and final value of x? So listen to me. What is the value of time here? T is equal to 1 second. Put the value of time in this equation, so you will get the initial position. Matlab, put t equal to 1 second. Put t is equal to 1 second. So x will become equal to 2 into 1, that is equal to 2 meters. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
This will be called as initial position. Now, what is the final value of time, beta? So it is t equal to 3 seconds. So put t is equal to 3 seconds. X final will be equal to what? 2 into 3 is equal to 6 meter. Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what would be V average, beta? So V average would be final minus of initial. That means 6 minus of 2 divided by final minus initial value of time. So final time is 3 and initial value of time is 1. So this would be equal to 4 by 2. It would be equal to 2 meter per second. Is it clear to all? Ishika and Mahuna especially, please respond.
Yes. So we didn't.
If I give you another question, will you be able to solve?
So I didn't understand this because we didn't use differentiation this one.
Ishika, kindly increase your volume.
So I was saying that I got confused with this one because we didn't differentiate or anything. We just put
Yes,
the
see,
value.
yes, we always don't differentiate. We differentiate wherever we want instantaneous values. Wherever we want average value, we don't need to differentiate. There can be two things, right? I will differentiate this, don't worry. I'll give you a question where I'll differentiate also. But don't don't memorize it. Okay, whenever we have x of this form, we will always differentiate. No, we will differentiate when we are supposed to find instantaneous value, and we will not differentiate when we are not supposed to find the instantaneous value. Did you understand, Ishika? What
Yes, sir.
I am supposed to find is average velocity in this case. And to find the average velocity, we have to use this formula and not the differentiation. Okay? Is it clear? Let me
Yes,
take
sir.
one more example. अगर आपने note कर लिया, can I erase this? Please respond. Can I erase this? Whatever written on the screen, can I erase this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm erasing this and I'm taking one more example, and then I'll give you a question which you will try. But before that, I'm taking one more example where I will find both. I will try to find the instantaneous value as well as the average value. I'm taking one more example. Let's say I have 4t square, right? X is equal to 4t square, where x is position and t is time. The question is to find v average, that is average velocity. Find average velocity between t equal to 1 second and t equal to, don't take it as 1 second, I'm taking it as 2 seconds, and t equal to 4 seconds. This is first part. Also find instantaneous velocity at t equal to 4 seconds. So this question has two parts. In first, we have to find average velocity, and second, we have to find instantaneous velocity. So for average velocity, which formula we are supposed to use? We have to use x final minus x initial divided by t final minus of t initial. Did you understand? For this, I'll have to find the initial position, final position, and then we will use this formula to get the average value of velocity. So first of all, I will find average value. So to find the average value, I'm finding x initial. Just see it. X initial means the position at t equal to 2 seconds. That is the initial value of time. The position at initial value of time will be called as initial position. Means it would be written as 4 into 2 per square. That would be equal to 16 meters. What will be the final position? The final position would be 4 into 4 square. That is equal to 64 meter. Am I correct?
Yes,
Tell me
sir.
yes or no. Now we have to write average value. What would it be? 64 minus of 16 divided by the final value of time is 4 minus of 2. 64 minus of 16. How much is that? 64
48.
minus of 16. 48. Divided by how much? Divided by 2. This will be equal to 24 meter per second. Very good, Saksham. Everyone, please respond. Did you understand how did we calculated this average value of velocity?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now the second is what? We have to also find the instantaneous velocity. For this instantaneous velocity, what we will do, we will differentiate this x with respect to time. And what is the value of x? So x, the value of x is 4t square. Now differentiate it. You will get it as, okay, Saksham, good. You will get it as 4, or ts, the differentiation of t square will be 2t. Hence it will be 8t. And at what value of time we have to find the instantaneous value? So at t equal to 4 seconds. So put the value of t as 4. So v instantaneous will become equal to kitna? 4 into 8 is equal to 32 meter per second. Everyone has understood when to apply that formula and when to apply this differentiation. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to the first slide. Please note it down. Mona, have you understood,
Yes,
beta?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll be giving another question which you will attempt, but पहले इसको note कर लो. Ibrahim,
Sir, can you explain the instantaneous velocity again?
okay, I'll explain that. Let me go to the next slide. Have you taken down this whatever written on this slide?
No, sir.
Please note it down so that I can go to the next slide. Some disturbance is coming from somebody's side. It is some sort of song or some poem or whatever is being recited. So please lower down that volume. Okay, I'm going to the next slide now. Ibrahim, try to understand what I just told you. Here we are supposed to calculate instantaneous velocity. So whenever we have to find the instantaneous value, what we do, we differentiate the quantity, right? And Ibrahim, what is the value of x here? The value of x is 4t square, right?
Yes.
So I'll differentiate this 4t square with respect to time. 4 is a constant, so it will be kept as it is. And the differentiation of t square according to this formula. See the formula. You will have to remember this formula always. This is the formula of differentiation, right? So if we have
Yes.
t squared, we will write it as 2t2 minus 1. So this will become 2t. So this became 2 into 4, 8t. So we have got the equation for instantaneous velocity. Now what we are supposed to find is the value of instantaneous velocity when the value of t is 4. So put the value of t as 4. So 4 multiplied by 8 would be 32 or not, Ibrahim?
Okay, sir, I understood.
Good. Okay, I'm giving you one more question which you will try now. Everybody, if you have understood whatever I have done till now, so I'm giving you one question just for you to solve and you will try it here only. The question is this way. Question is as follows. X is equal to 2t cube plus of, let's say t, plus of 2. Okay? What you are supposed to calculate first, find average velocity between t equal to 1 second and t equal to 3 seconds. And the second part of the question is find instantaneous velocity at t equal to 2 seconds. Please try to solve. Done. Okay, good section. Chalo. What about Ishika, Mohana, Ibrahim? Are you still
Sir,
solving?
done.
Good, beta, good.
Done, sir.
Tahir,
We're still
Tahira,
doing it.
Tariq. Okay,
Done,
Mohana,
sir.
just be quick. Okay. So for to find the average value of velocity, I just told you, you have to find the initial position and final position. If you'll put the value of time to be equal to 1 second, you will get the initial position. And if you put time equal to 3 seconds, you will get the final position, right? So put t equal to 1 second. So x1 would be equal to 2 into 1. The cube of 1 is still 1. Plus of t again 1 plus of 2. So this will become 5. Okay, Saksham, I will check the answer. Ibrahim, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
What will be x2? That means the final position. Either you call it 1 or 2, doesn't matter. You have to just keep it in your mind. This is initial position, and final position meant t would be equal to 3. So 2 into 3 the cube plus of 3 plus of 2. So 18 plus of 3, 21, 23 meters. The average velocity would be equal to 23 minus of 5 divided by time 3 minus of 1. So 23 minus 5 is 18, right? No, it is not 18. Is it 18? Yes, divided
Yes,
by 2. So that will be equal to 9 meter per second. This is the average value of velocity. Am I correct?
yes, sir.
Saksham, what was your answer? 27 meter per second. Was it for average value of velocity or instantaneous velocity? Average, I'm getting average as 9 meter per second. Why did you got it as 27 or something else? You were getting it as 27. Why did you get that? Because I'm getting average velocity as 9 meter per second only. See my simplification. 2 into 1 ka cube is 2 plus of 1 because t की value of t is 1 plus of 2 is 5. 2 3 to the power cube is nahi, I have made some mistake. It would be 27. That is why I was getting the wrong answer. Sorry for that. Nobody told me, nobody corrected me. This is 27. 27 into 2, 54. 54, 3, 57. 57 plus 2, 59. It would be 59. Sorry. My mistake. So average velocity would be equal to what? Average velocity would be equal to 59 minus of 5 divided by 3 minus of 1. That is equal to 54 by 2. That is equal to 27 meter per second. Is this the answer that everyone has got? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
मुझे सबने बोला कि सबने कर लिया था तो सब कोई आंसर आया था. Saksham has got this answer. What about others?
Yes, sir.
Be honest.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now what we are supposed to find is instantaneous velocity. So for instantaneous velocity, what we will do? Bolo. Okay, Saksham.
Differentiate.
I'll check the answer. Obviously, we'll differentiate. Now, देखो, instantaneous velocity के लिए to find the instantaneous velocity, we will differentiate. That is dx by dt. And I just told you, you can differentiate each term individually. So in this term, we have got a constant which is 2. So I'll keep this 2 as it is. I will differentiate t cube. Plus of, in this term, we don't have any constant, so dt by dt. Plus of d by dt, and there is only a constant. There is no variable multiplied to this. If we have only a constant without a variable multiplied with it, so the differentiation of that will be 0, right? Or iska differentiation will become 1. So bacha kya? This will be equal to 2 t cube differentiation of t cube is 3t square that becomes 6t square. This is the equation. Now putting the value 6 multiplied by t squared. At what time we have to find the instantaneous? So we have to find this instantaneous value at t equal to 2 seconds. So t2 squared would be equal to 24 meter per second. This is the answer. Did you get this or not?
Sir.
Mohana, I am not getting any response from your side. What happened?
सर +1 भी आएगा.
Sir, I got the same answer.
Very good, Mohana. No, there will be no plus one. Why there would be any plus one? अच्छा यहाँ plus one था. Oh, you are trying to tell me that सर एक plus one यहाँ था. This dt by dt is 1, right? I just left out that. So this will be equal to 25 meter per second. How did you got the same answer, Mohana? 24 was the wrong answer. Mohana? Now everyone is convinced with this or not?
Yes.
Should I take some more illustration regarding this same concept, or can we proceed to the other concept? Is it clear to everyone when we are supposed to differentiate and when we have to apply delta x by delta t? Is it understood?
Yes.
Sir, everyone has the authority to respond. If you have any doubt, I can take one more example. If you don't have any doubt, we can proceed to the next topic. So please tell me, should I take some any other example based on the same formula,
Yes, sir.
or should I proceed to the next?
Sir, please
You
take
want
one
one?
more example.
Okay, you want one more example. Okay, I'll take one more example. Listen to me. As it is told to me to take one more example, please take one example. Okay, Tyra, I'm taking one more example, and please do it correctly. I will give you some time to solve it. तो please बिल्कुल सही सही solve करिए आप. The value of x or the position is given by the equation. अब आप बोलो क्या ले लूं? Let's say it is t squared plus of 2t plus of 4. ठीक है, this is the position, that is this is the value of x, and this value of x changes with time. तो आपको फिर से वही बता दो, find first v average, that is average velocity between t equal to 1 second and t equal to 4 seconds. This is the average velocity that you are supposed to calculate for. And second is instantaneous velocity at t equal to 2 seconds. Hurry up, don't commit any sort of mistake, please. Everyone, kindly solve it by yourself, honestly, and without committing any sort of mistake. Okay, Saksham has already done this. Others, should I solve now or you are still doing?
I'm still
Should I
doing.
wait? Okay, hurry up, please.
Yes.
Chalo, let me solve now. देखो, first of all, to calculate average velocity, what will you do? You will find the value of x for, okay beta, you will find the value of x for time equal to 1 second, and then you will find the x at t equal to 4 seconds. The value of x, acha Saksham, you are getting 7 meters per second. Okay, I'll just check it. The value of x at t equal to 1 second can be considered as the initial value or first value of x or initial position, whatever you call it as. So put the value of t as 1. So you will get it as 1 plus of 2 into 1 plus of 4, and this would be equal to 7 meters. Now to find the second value of x, which is called as final position, put the value of t as 4. So put t as 4. So 4 squared plus of 2 into 4 plus of 4, that will be equal to how much? So this will be 16 plus of 8, 24, 24 plus of 4, 28. Is it understood? Now we were
Yes, sir.
supposed to find average velocity. Average velocity would be final position minus initial divided by final time minus of initial value of time, that is 28 minus 7 is equal to 21, divided by 4 minus 1 is 3. This will be equal to 7 meter per second. Saksham has got this answer. How many of you have got the same answer other than Saksham? Please respond.
I
Ishika,
got 7. I got 7.
Yes, sir.
okay.
No, sir.
Ibrahim got the same answer. Ishika got the same answer. Tahira and Tariq and Mahuna.
Sir, I got.
Okay, you also got the same answer. Mahuna, what about you? Did you get
Sir,
the
we
same
also
answer?
yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this is how we calculate the average value of velocity. Now moving on to the next, which is instantaneous velocity. What will you do to find the instantaneous velocity? So sir, you will just differentiate this. You will just differentiate this x, right? And how will you differentiate this x? So let me differentiate it for you. I will differentiate this for you. Don't. Okay, Saksham. Saksham has got this answer as 6 meter per second. Good. So I'll differentiate this for you. Just try to see this. The differentiation of t square. Obviously, it will be 2t. Sir, kaise? Sir, you have to remember this formula again and again. I am saying the same. You have to remember this formula. I have written this today. I have written this at least 4 or 5 times. So please, this is very important formula of differentiation, and you will have to remember this. So differentiation of t square will become 2t. Clear? Here, 2 is a constant. It will be kept as it is. You have to differentiate t with respect to t. And here 4 is a constant without any variable. So if you have a constant without any variable, so that differentiation of that constant will be 0. And this dt by dt will become 1. Means the instantaneous velocity, you will get it as 2t plus of t. Agreed? Instantaneous velocity will get it as 2t plus of 2. Is it clear to all?
Yes.
Sir, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to put the value of t in this equation. When you will put the value of t in this equation, what will you get? You will get 2 into 2. You have put the value of t in this equation. plus of 2, so this will become equal to 6. So this is the instantaneous value, and this is the average value that we have already got, right? So this would be the instantaneous value. Now, is it clear to everyone? Okay, whenever you are supposed to find the average velocity, you need to find it by the formula x2 minus of x1 upon t2 minus of t1. And whenever you will find the instantaneous velocity, you will do it by the differentiation or by differentiating x with respect to time. I hope everyone has understood this. एक बार और हाँ ना बोल दो. Everybody, have you understood this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. तो आज इतना ही रहने दो. ठीक है, keep it here only. अच्छा, one more thing that I want to share. From this week onwards, you will be having your physics class on Friday also. Same time. But you will be having your physics class on Fridays also. Means in week you will be having your physics class 5 days a week. Clear?
Okay.
So rest
Yes,
I'll
sir.
discuss. Okay, rest I'll discuss tomorrow. In tomorrow's class, we'll be discussing about the acceleration, and then we will be discussing about the equation of motion and all. ठीक है? तो आज इतना ही. So we'll meet tomorrow same time.
Thank you, sir.
You welcome all, beta.
Thank you, sir.